There are a couple of people who are less known, like Jimmy Wales, who I think is an extremely creative person. He has given us Wikipedia, for God's sake, and we know how useful it is when it comes to doing homework. Or Tim Berners-Lee, who has given us a World Wide Web. It has been time and again proven that for creative output to be generated, you either require people who complement each other, like the three great founders, or the pair of three great founders, Google, Apple, and Microsoft. Or you require people who have very, very interesting characteristics. So another research paper had this very interesting finding, and the reason I'm sharing these findings with all of you is that these things can be developed. And the finding is called creative people have a very, very high working memory. Let me tell you what is working memory. If I tell you my phone number, which is say 98458111683, and I don't allow any one of you to write down my phone number, and if you remember this phone number at the end of my TED talk, then you know that you have a high working memory. So working memory in simpler terms is a RAM that you store. And the research says that the people who are very creative have, number one, very high working memory, which means they can at any point in time store lots of information in their brain. But more interestingly, they have this concept called the opposable mind, like this thumb, the opposable thumb. You know, we never had this thumb. Millions of years back, we never had this thumb. We only had 5 fingers. What happened through the years of evolution is that this finger started slipping and it became the thumb. And the moment this thumb came, it became the opposable thumb. And with this opposable thumb, we can climb, we can snatch, we can write, we can kill. And this led to the development of our species. And what we are today is much to this opposable thumb. And same concept applies to creative people, which is called opposable mind. What opposable mind is that creative people are able to store opposing thoughts in their mind simultaneously and choose none of them. They don't choose any of the thoughts. What they do is they conceive a third thought, which is the sum total of the two. Most of us take decisions quickly. The reason we take decisions quickly is because indecisiveness is a very uncomfortable state to be in, and we call them as good managers. So one of the very important traits of creative people, and which all of us can develop, is called postponing the judgment. You take the judgment or you take the call as late as possible. Don't confuse this with procrastination. It's not procrastination. Procrastination is when you know what to do, but you don't do it. In creativity, you don't decide what is to be done. That's called opposable mind, right? And I'm already there. So these people either had a pair which they worked with, or they had this opposable mind, right? So this brings me to the last conclusion of my talk. And these are the 4 things which have been proven very conclusively in the space of research as well as in practice, and which all of you can develop. The first thing being that we need to have an enormous amount of divergent thinking. When I gave you the example of conceiving applications for the plastic bottle, you have to really think of very bizarre application. A quick show of hands, how many of you thought that you can use this to hit somebody? Door stopper. Fantastic, right? Or a glass to look into something, like a lens. Fantastic. These are the sort of things that our education does not teach us. Our education makes us more convergent thinkers rather than divergent thinkers. And many times education is to be blamed for that. And equally important is this concept of lateral thinking and latent inhibitions, which is you don't take judgments quickly. So when I was looking around people talking to each other, we were choosing whom to talk to, is it not? Which is not really great. You need to allow all sorts of information to come into your brain. Allow information to seep in. At the same time, whatever you think of, you should be able to do. Opposable mind, which means you should be able to take 2 very, very contradictory thoughts in your mind and still execute it. And for all of this to be done, of course, what you need the most is courage. So that's all. Thank you very much.